Good morning, October 26th. Welcome to Digging Deeper. Red Cloud has provided a great guest today. It's Kesselrun Resources, and we've got Michael Thompson, who is a PGO, and he is the Director, President, and CEO over at Kessel Run. It's a pleasure having you here. We're going to talk a little bit of macro. We're going to talk about gold and specifically your projects. How's everything going today? What's the outlook here with Kessel Run?
The outlook is good. I mean, the markets are soft, but I think the outlook for gold and good gold projects is extremely good.
I think before we get into the details of the projects, I mean, you hit a lot of milestones because you're in the right area, right region. There's lots of comparables or near-term projects and whatnot to kind of go off of. It's gold. It's in Canada, so there's lots of positives right off the bat. Lots of milestones that someone can go, okay, I get it. What's going on?
Yeah.
And I thought maybe before we get into talking specifically about Kessel Run would be maybe your overall thoughts on the challenges in the market, but the macro with gold and why that is important. We're seeing a lot more people focus on it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a gold bull, strictly speaking, just because the macro environment, right? I mean, we could go on about the money printing and the inflation and make comparisons. I always say, and lots of people say history doesn't repeat itself, but it certainly rhymes.
Yeah.
And I look at something like the 70s when gold went from $35 to close to $1,000 in approximately 10 years, give or take. I was just a kid back then, but I do remember it, and it had a significant impact on my sort of outlook on things. So I certainly think there's a comparison to be made. The inflationary environment, the money printing, the macro economic outlook. So if you could go back in time and pick good gold projects, you would have done very well through the 70s, where a lot of other sectors floundered because of the economic situation. So, I think we're in a similar situation. So pick your projects.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't agree more. I mean, whenever you throw into this kind of chaos on lots of different scales, I would rather own the stuff that makes stuff and also something with a historical value. Right. As much as I like the story of the electric future, and we're going to be doing all this really incredible stuff with technology in the future, great, I'm all for it. But right now, we're not quite there. We're in this transition phase. And the stories that I think that resonate with people are, where can I get some growth, but also where am I safest? And if someone put money into cash, they could have lost if it was Canadian dollar. Would have made some on US dollar. But it's a lot easier to go, what historically can I look back over a long period of time and kind of equate different historical events and perspectives, and gold fits a lot of those big movements and moments in time.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think the governments of the world are going to inflate their way out of their debt problems. That's the simple thing. And so that effectively it's a tax on the average person.
Yeah.
In a sense. So you've got to protect yourself. How do you protect yourself? It's in hard assets, and gold being one of those. And so yeah, I own gold, and that's the reason I own gold, among other things.
Yes.
So.
And what better than to be looking for it as well, and to finding it, and then ideally producing it and income out of it. Yeah.
Yeah. I own the hard asset. I own gold, and I own gold stocks. Kessel Run, my biggest holding, obviously.
So tell me, Kessel Run, you guys raised $3 million. You've done a lot of work, and I mean, you've got 2 projects, and a ton of data. So there's a lot of data already, which is great. But that helps to kind of let people know where you are in the story, and it's not just drilling blind into something. This is not this story.
No. I mean, so yeah, just a quick Huronian. The Huronian project is our focus. We were just chatting just before this. It's the Huronian project we bought when the market was down, right? It was a buy low, sell high sort of thing. I had my eye on the project for a long time, and managed to get it at a price that made sense for Kessel Run at the time and in the future. So I make that comparison to sort of where we are now looking for companies that have this project. It's a fantastic project. It's got a former producer on it. Back in the 1930s, it's got an historic resource that was done in '98. So it's not compliant to today's standards, but it's certainly a really good indicator for us. That's what attracted me to the project. And we've been working it hard for about 2.5 years, and the results speak for themselves.
Yes,
fantastic results.
Yes, there's lots of data, lots of results here from this Huronian. I'm going to say it wrong. Huronian zone.
You got it.
I got it. Okay, and also this fissure, the fissure structure. That specific structure. This is all like high grade. Is a high grade porphyry kind of veins type? Is this what?
It's quartz veins.
Quartz vein. Yeah.
So I mean, the shot that you got up there is basically our backyard. This is where we operate. It's great geology, great infrastructure. Safe jurisdiction. It's a great place to work. I live in Thunder Bay. Love the people, love the area. So, and the geology is fantastic. We've got the Bluff Point project, which I love, and I think it has huge potential. We're concentrating on the Huronian because we think that's the most advanced project that is, we want to advance as the gold market takes off. So.
And with this story, this is a bulk tonnage story as well. Maybe we've got a lot of generalist investors, so maybe you can kind of tell people the difference between types of.
Well, I'll use the example. So our next door neighbor, which is Goldshore Resources, that has the Moss Lake project, is a bulk tonnage, low grade. So you're going to dig a big pit and you're going to move a lot of rock, right? So it's a numbers game. Margins are thin, but you've got a lot of tons, right?
Yeah.
So I'm more attracted to the projects that have both, have the high grade, so lower tonnage but much higher grades. But if you've got enough of those zones close together, then you've also got a bulk tonnage story.
Yes, and you've got a number of targets too. You've got a number of it's not a matter of just one or two. You have a number of them as well.
Yeah, so the Huronian zone that the project is named after hosts the Huronian mine, and that's where the past production occurred in the 1930s, high grade gold mine, and then surrounding it are multiple zones. They're high grade zones. There's also lower grade bulk tonnage type zones. And that's where that historic resource. So the historic resource was done on the surrounding zones, and nobody really looked at that old Huronian zone. So the Fisher zone, McKellar zone, and then the other Fisher North zones and such. And that's all. It's all concentrated right around the old mine site. So it's all within a kilometer-ish, give or take, spitting distance, right? Walk from one zone to the other in like 10 minutes. It's nothing. So that's where that suddenly you start looking at it and going, okay, there's also bulk tonnage potential, right? We could mine, once the engineers and start crunching numbers, eventually down the road, when we get there, they might decide that's the most cost-effective way to mine it.
Sure. And
I'm an exploration geologist.
Yes.
I don't profess to be that guy, but I know enough to be able to apply it to project sort of evaluations and such.
And once again, and this is shallow as well. So this is from surface to like 100, 150 meters down.
Far. The mine the mine went down to about 300 meters depth.
Okay.
Most of it was much shallower. And then all the surrounding zones had only been drilled before we got the project, down to 75 meters. It barely scratched the surface.
Yes.
And again, that's what attracted to me. when I started looking at what the available data in the public sphere, I started looking at it going, hey, wait a minute, this has got a lot of potential, and maybe, I don't think they were looking at this quite in the right way. And so, undervalued assets, right? So that's what attracted to me. And this is, as I said, apply this to the market in general now, look for undervalued companies with undervalued assets. And here we are.
And with this type of structure too, and we've seen it a lot in like Northern Ontario and certainly across the Abitibi, is you can get these vein structures that shoot down,
Mhm.
And you could chase them, like you could have a bulk tonnage story and then find this vein and you could chase it down for quite some, like, kilometers.
Oh yeah, yeah. I
In
mean,
theory,
like,
yeah, I'm not saying that that's the case, but that's what these structures can do. Like,
absolutely. The Dome mine in Timmins, famous mine that basically started it all, was an underground high grade story, and then it got open pitted. They went, hey, wait a minute, so they dug a big pit and took it all out, and then continued mining underneath the pit. And so there's lots of projects right now that are open pitting first, and then they'll end up underground mining at a later date. So that's, yeah, these zones, these structures, they go forever
yeah,
effectively, right? You know, you'll not find the end of it. I've been in mines down to 2-3 kilometers depth.
yes,
So,
yeah. So this, I mean, so what are the some of? Are we waiting on any more new results? Or I know you guys have planned some more like soil sampling, some more geochem and whatnot that's coming
yeah.
up. Yeah,
Well, I mean, those people in the sort of in the know of where the industry was, and not only our industry, but many others, having logistics problems, personnel problems, and that. So the lab turnaround times
yes,
were nothing I've ever seen in my 25 years in the industry. Normally you're looking at 4 to 6 weeks, and after 4 weeks you're starting to get antsy and going, what's going on? And we were 12, 16, 18 weeks sometimes.
yes.
It's starting to get better. They're starting to work through it, but yeah, finding people was the tough part, basically. So yeah, we've got quite a backlog in the lab still that we're waiting on results.
And it's
So,
tough too because I mean, like anything, you have a thesis, you test it, you drill it,
mhm.
and then you kind of have to wait to go. What are the results showing us? Which is frustrating, and that's not only
Sure.
frustrating for you, but it's also frustrating because people are probably calling saying, "Okay, what's the next target?" Well, we can't do anything.
Yeah.
Nothing's changed until we see the data.
Well, the bonus with our project is we've got so many zones that we could sort of, drill one zone,
Yeah.
drill 8 holes and then move to the next zone. And under normal circumstances, by the time you got back, you finished all drilling your zones and got back to the first zone you drilled, you should have the results back.
Yes.
And that just wasn't happening. And then you're not drilling cost effectively, right? And I don't like wasting money. Money is hard to come by. I treat shareholder money the same as I treat my own money.
Yes.
I'm pretty tight with it, so don't care for it. But you got to roll with the punches sometimes too. So.
Now you mentioned too, because I mean, people are sick of hearing about it, but it's a fact of the current environment we're in. Like there's supply chain issues still.
Mm-hmm.
There's still work issues. Like how are you guys finding? As far as the assays are one thing that's completely beyond our control, and that's everyone, even my group that watch and listen, they understand that now. But are you finding as well, like just as far as work, like in the field, or are you okay with that with the crews that you're using and whatnot?
It's challenging. It's tough.
Yeah.
I mean, it's there's so much competition for people, and wages have gone up, and that increased cost. But yeah, no, I mean, I've got enough connections and network that we've been fine. So.
And you've got the infrastructure. I mean, that's a big part too, is that, often people, they may not want to go way up in the middle of nowhere, and I don't want to pick projects, but you can go pretty far out there. And some people may not be excited to camp in tent in tough terrain, but you guys are pretty close to everything.
Yeah. I mean, I can walk out my door and be on the project in about an hour and a half.
Yeah.
There's roads all through the project, so it's easy to get to. We've got a nice little trailer camp set up, and so it's pretty comfortable. It's pretty cost effective exploration. I always use the saying, I love flying in helicopters, but I don't like paying for them.
No.
So
Yes.
and so cost effective exploration means cost effective development down the road, right? And it makes the economics a lot more attractive. So roads everywhere. As I drive in, I cross the hydro line, right? The transmission line's right there. So it's a pretty good setup.
And then, I mean, and do you know, like some people test early, some don't, but do you know the metallurgy of the project at all? I mean, you may have some past data. I don't know if we're allowed
Yeah,
to talk
yeah.
about past, but
There's some historic metallurgical reports.
yeah,
Not that old, so nothing's changed. It's a pretty typical gold deposit as far as Northern Ontario. As you said, in the Abitibi and that it's a lot of free milling gold and that. So yeah, nothing to be concerned about.
yeah.
Basically, it's pretty simple.
And fully funded till the end of the year for sure. And the
Yeah,
good thing with that is, I mean, the whole market is beaten down a bit. So if someone's looking, they go, okay, where can I get my biggest bang for the buck? Certainly, mining is a great place to look, but especially ones where we're waiting on results, because that can change things very quickly.
sure. Yeah, we got results pending, lots of results pending, so we'll have good news flow going forward. We're in a good cash position. We still got lots of hard dollars left, and a bit of flow through left. So we're, as you said, we're good until the end of the year. Projects owned 100%. There's lots of credit, like, so it's not something that I have to go raise money to fulfill an option agreement or exploration expenditures and that. And both projects are 100%.
Yes.
So
Yeah. And it's a huge package. I mean, it's 4,600 hectares. Was I right? It's pretty big.
it's economy. Yeah, 4,600 hectares.
4,600. Okay, good.
Yeah.
And you did 23,000 meters of drilling in 2021 as well. So there's
3,000 in 2020, 20,000 in 21. We've done approximately 13 this year.
This year.
Yeah, so we're like in the mid 40s, 1,000 drilled so far. So over the last sort of 2.5 bit years.
So this, I mean, I have to always look to see what the urgency of that. This could be waiting on these assays could be really kind of pivotal to see, where it's going if you're testing the thesis and it's proving right.
Yeah, I mean, you can go look at our old news releases and over the last year or two. The results are fantastic. We're hitting consistently. Lots of results coming. So
I think with people, if they're keeping in mind, is that, I mean, and I would certainly be one of them, gold is not in any time, in any space moving forward is not going to diminish. I just don't see that happening. I mean, too many people are concerned and want tangible, real things and things that have a lot of data. So the gold story in and of itself, I think, despite the market fluctuation in price, seems to be getting stronger anyway. Like more and more retail people are paying attention, particularly whenever like a lot of the crypto stuff that people thought, oh, that's the new gold, kind of came apart a little bit.
Yeah, well, I mean, gold. My opinion is gold, and the best time to own gold and the best time to own gold stocks is now, right? It's not tomorrow, because you might miss the boat, right? So it's whether you're somebody that's going to jump in feet first and say, okay, I'm going to buy 100 ounces of gold, I'm going to put it all in one, I'm going to go put it, or you want to start dipping your toe, or somewhere in between. The moves in gold stocks, the moves in the gold price can be quick and rapidly up, right? If you go look at historic gold price moves, if you go look at other company moves, where discoveries are made, or when it catches the market's attention, the moves are quick.
Yes.
So that's always something to keep in mind,
especially in times with a lot of like social, economic, political change, a lot, and we're going through a lot on a world scale. So
absolutely. So I mean, I don't want to give investment advice, certainly, but
no.
but I am buying gold. I am buying gold stocks on an ongoing basis. I can't time the market, so
God, same here.
If I could time the market, I'd be a billionaire and sitting on a beach somewhere. But so you just sort of consistently buy, and that's what I do.
I think that's a great lesson too. Is that there you have to have a level of patience. You have to have a thick skin, certainly for mining. We were joking around about that earlier,
Yeah,
but also
yeah.
a level of patience that is a bit tougher to come by nowadays because people tend to like their information fast and every quarter and every this is good in a way because it can make people go slow down, long term. Let's look and develop this, but the upside can be a lot bigger as well because these are not easy things to find. And when they do, and they're economic, it's a very good thing.
Yeah. Well, that's it. I mean, you gotta look for the best projects, the best companies. We've got fantastic management. We've got and a team. I've got a great bunch of geologists working. We've got cash. We've got the projects that are not going to be impeded by onerous payments down the road or anything like that. They're 100% owned. That's my basically shtick as far as projects go is close to infrastructure. I want to be able to drive to them, and I want to own them 100%.
And we're waiting on results, which is also great.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Excellent. Well, I really appreciate you coming on and sharing the story. We're going to be watching to see these results as they come out, and hopefully soon. But hey, we never know for sure. But we'll be watching to see and watching developments in this, not only the economic sector in gold, but to see how you guys are doing. And I really appreciate you coming on.
Well, I appreciate telling the story. Thank you very much.
All right, everyone, enjoy the rest of the day. And thank you once again, Michael, and take care.
Cheers.
Today's company presentations are brought to you by Red Cloud Financial Services and the team at Red Cloud Vancouver. Red Cloud Financial Services is your preeminent source for mining industry opportunities. The team provides a unique tailored marketing program dedicated to reaching the right people from its mining-focused global network, giving clients access to industry-leading events and conferences, retail and institutional marketing, plus an in-house growth-driven digital agency. Red Cloud Financial Services has access to some of the mining industry's most notable companies and CEOs. Tune in every Thursday at 4:15 p.m. Eastern, 1:15 p.m. Pacific for weekly corporate presentations. For more information, visit redcloudfs.com.